In a world filled with filters and facades, The Real Life with Lacey is your sanctuary of authenticity. Join me as we unravel true stories that resonate with the human experience. And remember, our ultimate goal is to touch the heart of at least one viewer in every episode. This is where the power of real life takes center stage, and the impact is real. Welcome to a journey of inspiration and connection. Hi, welcome back to the podcast, The Real Life with Lacey, and today we have Mylah. Hi. So today we're going to be talking about a few new topics that we haven't talked about, and a few topics that we have talked about. So, how are you, Mylah?
I'm okay.
Are you stressed out?
Always.
I guess that's life in your, how old are you?
I am 30.
Oh, now you're 30.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Finally
Yep.
you're out of the 20s.
Yep.
You were the youngest one around for quite some time.
I still am.
Yeah. All right, so we have a little bit in common. So we both got pregnant at a very early age.
Yes.
And I would like to touch that subject with you because you went a different route than I did.
Than most people do.
Yeah. So how old were you when you did get pregnant?
I was 16.
Okay. And who were you with, your boyfriend or?
No, we were separated.
Okay, so you were dating?
Yeah, before.
Okay. And then you broke up
Yes.
and found out that you were pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay, and take me back there. What happened?
So we had split up, and then, like you said, I found out that I was pregnant, and so of course I reached out to him and let him know. And from the get-go, the moment that he found out, he said, I want nothing to do with you or this pregnancy.
And you were 16.
I was 16.
So were you a junior?
Yes.
In high
Yes,
school?
I was a junior.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Were you up here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go Amber or Argonaut?
Argonaut.
Okay. So you were dating for how long before you broke up?
I think it was close to 3 years.
Oh my God. So you guys were together like your whole high school.
Yeah.
Broke up,
Mm-hmm.
found out you were pregnant. Were you guys using protection and birth control, or was it?
We were using protection at first, but as the relationship
Sometimes.
progressed, we didn't. But I was on birth control the entire time. I was on the pill.
Okay. All right. So you found out you were pregnant, and he said, I don't want anything to do.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with you or the kids.
So what'd you think at that moment? Like, what were you... Well, you didn't know kids at that point, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you just knew you were pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the next step you did?
Well, I mean, I kept going to the doctor's appointments, of course, and I really thought, well, I'm going to have to do this on my own. And so that was the plan.
What did your family think?
They were pretty disappointed. They wanted me to take alternative routes, and I was stubborn and thought, no, I'm gonna do this. And so I went through the whole pregnancy, and I did it.
And when did you find out that there was more than one?
I think I was like 2.5, 3 months along, and I was at the doctor's appointment with my sister, and she stopped and went, hold on, wait a minute, and she left the room, and I thought, what the hell is happening? And she came back, brought another doctor in, and he said, yep, there's 2 of them. And my sister looked at me and she said, only you. This would only happen to you.
Seriously. Okay, 16, found out that you were about to have twins. And Dad wants no part of it.
Nothing to do with it.
And you're still seeing him at school? Like, are you still in school?
He was 18. He was graduated.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense. So
Yeah.
he went on with his life and left
Yes.
his high school girlfriend back.
Yeah, he
Okay.
was going to college.
Okay. And then you're carrying on, and then what happened? What triggered the change?
Well, I had them, and it was kind of an awful experience. I mean, not only being very young, but the doctors were very judgmental, and they made it pretty known, the comments that they would say to me, when I gave birth. And I remember even there was this one point my aunt snapped at one of the nurses and was like, you need to back off.
Like, what were they saying?
Just, I mean, I was exhausted. I remember they were fine, they stopped crying, and I was just trying to get some sleep, and she said, you need to get up and you need to try to nurse them. And I mean, after multiple attempts of nursing, and my aunt was there, and she said, no, you need to back off, you need to let her sleep.
So you had them naturally?
No, C-section.
Okay, and were they full term?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
38 weeks.
Holy shit, how much do they weigh?
5 pounds, 2 ounces, and 5 pounds, 6 ounces.
Okay, and what were the sexes?
Both girls.
Oh, they were both
identical.
Girls?
Yeah, they were.
Oh, they were identical too. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And so, what was happening? What happened next?
Well, I went home and I kept them for about, it was over a month. I'm going to say like a month and a half. And my family, I lived with my mom and my sister at the time, and they were as supportive as they could be. I mean, they both had jobs, which I understand, but being at home by yourself at the age, when I had them, I was 17. So at 17 years old, being home by yourself with 2 babies, it was overwhelming. And no help. Still no help from the dad.
And your hormones.
Yeah.
I mean, just having babies in general, baby in general, your hormones are just fucking going crazy with postpartum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really hard. And throughout the pregnancy, before I knew what I was going to do, I had a couple that I had known through the father, who offered, they're like, if you ever want to consider adoption, like, please consider us. We would love to take on this challenge. We've been married for, at that time, I think it was like 12 years. It was over 10 years. They both had really great jobs, and they had been trying their entire marriage to have kids, and they couldn't.
Oh, okay.
So that's always been in the back of my mind, but I just never saw that as an option.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, when I realized, I cannot do this by myself, I reached out to them. I called them, and they said, we're on our way.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? So were they local?
They lived in, at the time, South Lake Tahoe. So it was about, an hour and a half, 2 hours for them to get there where I was, but...
Oh my God, how difficult was that?
It was...
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And did you have to sign paperwork?
No. It was such a strange experience. I didn't do it the way that I guess you should have done it. But I needed help.
Yeah, like they didn't pay you?
Nope, they did not pay me.
Okay, and then like you just signed over guardianship?
It was at the moment when they actually came and picked them up. I didn't sign anything. I really just, talked to them about it. Are you sure you want to do this? And I'm like, no, I'm not sure, but I cannot do this by myself.
And did you guys come to agreement about like being in their life at all or not being in their life?
Yeah, we spoke about that day as well. And they said, of course, we would love to keep in contact with you throughout their lives. We're not going to cut you out.
Okay, so do you talk to them or see them?
I do. I don't see them in person. I just talk to them through like email, social media, stuff like that. So like Facebook, I'm friends with them on Facebook.
The parents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about the children?
They don't have Facebook.
No, have you contacted them at all?
No.
No. Do they know they're adopted?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm waiting on their parents to decide that. I mean, whenever they're ready, I'm sure it's going to come up.
How old are they?
They're 13.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you still see photos and
Yes.
and you contact the parents to see how they're doing.
Yeah.
But there's no relationship, like you haven't met them.
Correct.
That still has to be very, very, very difficult.
It is.
Yeah. And who do they look like? Do they look like you?
Their dad.
Oh, yeah?
100%.
And where is that fucker, by the way?
I don't care.
Yeah, but he's just MIA.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I give you major props for being able to. First off, you tried. You're like, I know I want these babies, but just seeing that there was another avenue to be able to let them have a better life than what you were able to give them, and not a lot of people are able to do that for selfish reasons. I believe I believe I was selfish by keeping my daughter, that I was 17.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my God. I remember finding out I was pregnant, literally dropping to the ground, just like in devastation. Like, my life's fucking over. Right? And I know you felt that for sure. And then not telling anybody, still figuring out what I was going to do. And then I had told some people at a party sort of thing I was at,
I wasn't drinking just because, just in case I was keeping the child. But this person that I had told his mom, and his mom knew my parents from church. So the mom told my mom, okay? And at this time, my parents still thought I was a virgin, okay? So the conversations that we would have at our house about sex, premarital sex, was don't have sex until you're married, period, in a sentence. There was no talking about safe sex, birth control, or anything.
Right.
And shockingly, both my brother and I had our first children at 18. So that's why I firmly believe you should talk to your children about safe sex, because they're going to have it. They're hormonally driven. Like, they're going to have sex. Yeah. So don't put your head in the sand and act like it's not going to happen. But regardless, anyway, so my mom came to me while I was at work. I was working at the casino at the time. And she walks in and she's like, you're pregnant? And I'm like, holy fuck, really? Like, I got tables right now. Like, this is awkward. And
at work.
Oh, yeah.
She came into your work.
Yeah. And she's like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out because, I'm supposed to be leaving for the Bay Area. And she's like, I'll adopt the child. I'm like, you're going to adopt the fucking child? What do you mean? Like, is this going to be my sibling? I'll be like, hey, like, And so she's like, or my mom was adopted, right? So she's like, or put the child up for adoption. And so that was an option. And in my head, I was like, I can't fucking do that. I can't do it because honestly, I'm selfish. I felt like I don't want someone else raising this child, and I might fuck up my child, which I probably did fuck her up a little bit of the process. We definitely grew up together, but I do give you major props for being able to see that you were able to give these children a better life. Yeah. And they did. I mean, like, what kind of life could you give these children at 16? Not
the life that they had. I mean, by the time they were 3, they had already traveled more than I still to this day have traveled. I mean, they have, and not that that's what matters, but really, I mean, just looking at the pictures, they're so happy and they're healthy, and they have both their parents, which I couldn't provide that. And I remember the day that I did that, I thought, I do not want these children to grow up the way that I grew up. Yeah. And that's without a dad. So if I can give them the life that I never had, that would be just rewarding in itself.
Oh my God, yeah. So again, like, kudos to you that you were able to do that, and I know that it still probably hurts to this day. Yeah. And honestly, more people need to be able to look into that possibility for their children if they're thinking that they can't supply that sort of life for their child, and hopefully people can. Yeah. So then what happened after that? So you were 17, and now no children for a little bit, and you probably had some hard time to get over it.
It was, I mean, the day that I gave them up, I remember my mom and my sister, they were there at the house with me, and my sister said, I can't do this, and she left, and I thought, okay, that's fine. I mean, it's a big step for all of us. So if you need your space,
you can't do this.
Take your space. But yeah, I know, right? And like in the time that I needed them the most, they left. And then my mom, she said, you need to pack up your shit and get the fuck out of my house.
To you?
To me.
Holy fuck.
And then she left. So I did. At 17 years old, I packed up what I could, and the first thing I did was I called I had 2 best friends growing up throughout life, and I called one of them.
Who was that?
Alyssa. Mm-hmm. And she said, stay right there. I'm on my way. And she lived in Sacramento at the time, and she drove out, and she pulled up in her blue Honda Civic, and she packed up whatever she could of mine in her car, and we left.
Now, why did your mom say that? Like, was she mad that you made that decision?
Yeah.
But you're like, I can't do it. Like, how am I going to do it alone?
Yeah. Wow. I don't think she, really...
Okay,
thought about that.
Yeah. So then you moved to Sac?
I did.
Okay. And you stayed there for the rest of high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got married after that, right?
I did. So I was 18 when I got married.
Okay. Did you meet him in Sacramento?
No. I met him. So after... Okay, I was 17. I lived out in Sac, I think, for like a year. And then when I did end up moving back, tried to rekindle things with my family. and make it work. I met him through mutual friends. You know, hey, there's somebody that I want you to meet. He's in the military. When he comes home, I really think you should meet him. And I said, okay. And so when he got home, I had just graduated high school. I did homeschool for a little bit. So I just graduated, and I thought, okay, I'll meet him.
Was he older than you?
1 year older.
Okay, so then you met, you fell in love, and got married.
Yeah, it was very quick. Very quick.
Like how quick?
We met in June, and he proposed to me in July.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
And you got married in August?
No.
just going with it.
No, we got married in September.
Oh,
So it really,
so, yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
It moved very, very, very fast.
Okay, and then so was he stationed somewhere?
He was stationed in 29 Palms.
Where's that?
That's down south.
Okay, so you moved there?
Mhm.
Okay, and then you guys stayed together for, how long were you guys married?
We were married almost 5 years. It was like right under 5 years.
And you had a child with him?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how old is she now?
She is 10.
Okay, all right. So you were married for 5 years, and...
Yeah, and so I got married in September. I got pregnant in December. So I had her when I was 19.
Okay. And then how was that relationship?
While he was deployed, fine.
When he was
when he was not around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine.
Uh-huh.
Everything was really, it was a fairy tale. I thought, wow, life could not be more perfect.
With him gone?
Well, just no with our relationship.
Okay, so you guys were good. And,
Yeah.
And then what?
He came home and I found out who he was. He was a really big drinker, and I'm not going to talk too much shit because I am too.
We all like
But
alcohol.
he
That's
would,
right.
get like unnecessarily drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And first red flag, and I
Yeah.
ignored it. I love red flags.
Yeah.
Six Flags season pass holder right here.
Red flag.
Bring me all the red flags.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
don't mind that red flag.
Don't mind that
Yeah.
one. And so I remember it was the 3rd of July, so the fireworks were happening, and he got into this, it was really bad. There was this huge fight that happened, and of course he had to insert himself in that and get involved.
What were you at,
And-
like a party or something?
At his parents' house.
Oh.
Yeah, and so he got belligerently drunk and got into this fight because something happened with his sister, and so he was trying to be the good big brother and stand up for her, and him and his brother ended up like really messing someone up, but there was a whole bunch of people involved, so it wasn't just them.
Yeah.
They ended up running from the cops, and the cops came by, and they were like, listen, we know who's involved, where are they? And I was like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure out the same thing.
Mhm.
I don't know. And I remember taking my engagement ring off and thinking, do I really want to do this?
And this
So
is
that was
after
that
you're
was
married.
before we got married. That
Oh.
was, and so another red flag.
Yeah, that was the first red flag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the second after the drinking problem.
Yeah.
It was just...
And then during the marriage.
Oh, but during the marriage, yeah, he continued to drink. He was still in the military, and it just, I mean, it was good when it was good, and when it wasn't, it wasn't.
Yeah. And what made you guys finally just call it quits?
Well, I mean, there was some abuse that kind of led up to it, and a lot of controlling on his end. The first time that he ever laid hands on me, he was home, so he wasn't out of the military, but he was home, and he went over to a friend's house. I had our daughter at the time. She was right around 1 year old, so she was really little, and I remember bringing her over, to meet his friend for the first time. It should have been a very exciting time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the friend and the friend's mom, who was there, she treated me like shit. And it was because he had a son prior to us being together.
Your husband at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he had gotten somebody pregnant at 16.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they kept them.
Yeah.
And so I had a stepson,
Mhm.
and it was... So I know, so this kind of gets confusing. It was the stepson's grandma was friends with his friend's mom, if I said that correctly.
Yeah. I get it. Okay.
And so
So
she was mad that she wasn't with, that my ex-husband wasn't with his first baby mama.
Yes.
And so her and her friends all treating me like shit because I was the new wife.
Oh, that's fun.
And so while I was over there, he was drinking, having, you know, a really great time, which I thought, okay, he's home, let him have fun. That's fine. Well, just, you know, getting those nasty comments from her, and he was ignoring me. He was just paying attention to my ex-husband, you know. And I feel like it just should have been like, oh, you know, it's so nice to meet your new family.
Yeah.
It should have been like a group thing, but it was really just him.
Yeah.
And so he got really drunk. We finally left. And he was staying with his brother at the time, if I remember correctly. So we went back to my ex-husband's brother's house. And no one was home. It was just us. And we ended up getting into an argument, and I brought all of that up. I said, listen, I felt so uncomfortable there, and you didn't stand up for me. Like, why would you allow that to happen? And it just turned into a fight, and our daughter was kind of just walking around playing in the yard. And I will never forget this, he grabbed me by my throat and picked me up and strangled me and, like, pushed me against the garage door and was strangling me. And I don't know how long I was there. It felt like years. Probably just, you know, a few seconds, but he was strangling me, and while I was being strangled in the air, his dad pulls up and said, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, nice. At least he got caught.
Yeah. And so he finally let me go and started to walk inside and just avoid the situation, and I looked at his dad and I said, you need to take care of him. I'm leaving. And so I packed up our daughter and I left.
And that was when your daughter's story's 1 at that time?
At that time, yeah.
Okay.
And so I left. I don't remember where I went. I think I called his mom and was like, hey, I don't remember exactly what happened. But I just remember leaving. And not the relationship, just physically removing myself from the situation.
And then what? Was there apologies? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And then you ended up going back, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And then, but it didn't stop. It just continued.
Yeah. There was a lot more, like, verbal abuse than physical, but there was another physical altercation that happened.
You know, and physical is bad for sure, but sometimes the emotional and verbal abuse is worse than the physical.
Yeah.
Because it scars you mentally.
Absolutely.
And it makes you feel belittled for eternity, and it takes a long time to get that out of your brain.
I still am not the same from it.
Yeah.
I don't view myself the way others may view me.
Yeah, because you're gorgeous.
Thank you.
Well, you are. You know, I mean, I know you don't feel that sometimes.
No,
none of us feel that sometimes, like, you know. But you are very, very pretty, and you don't portray yourself very confident at times.
Yeah.
And it has to be from that past traumatic experiences, which I hope at one point you could try to get over. Because, I mean, you should be confident. You're a Taurus.
I know.
And you're pretty. But so for years you stayed with him though. And so what was the topping? What finally ended it?
I think, I mean, it really took a lot for me to really end it. But there was another night when we were both drinking. We actually went out to BG's and we were driving home, and I really don't remember what led up, like what the argument was about. But the next thing I know, he grabbed me by my hair, the back of my head, and he kept, while he was driving, slamming my head into, like, the center.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, repeatedly. I mean, this went on for the whole drive home, just slamming my head repeatedly.
Like your forehead?
No, like, it was, like, the side of my head, because he kind of, like, reached over and grabbed me by my hair, and then just kept slamming my head down.
And what were you doing? Were you, like, trying to, like, push off?
I tried to get away, but I realized he wasn't going to loosen up that grip. And so I kind of just stayed there. And he eventually stopped, but he held my hair until we got home. And, like, if I would flinch, he would, like, pull me closer. Like, I'm not letting go. You're not getting out of this.
How long's that drive home?
It was like
eternity.
a half an hour. Yeah. Yeah, no, we lived up in Pioneer at that time. So from BG's to Pioneer, it was like a good half an hour.
And then when you got there?
I went to bed and I cried and cried and cried and thought, you know, like, what happened? Like, what?
Was he apologetic that evening? Or
not that evening, no.
Yeah, the next day? When you sobered up?
I just went to bed and tried to not think about it.
Yeah. Okay, so then that was probably around the time.
Yeah, I knew in my head, I'm not going to do this forever. I don't know when I'm going to leave, but I'm going to leave.
How did you finally leave? Hopefully this is going to be good.
I know. So we ended up buying a house together. And at the time, it was I'm trying to think of when all this happened. I don't even remember what month we bought the house, but I remember we bought a home. And of course, moved in, got established, and one of my other best friend since I was 5, from kindergarten, from childhood, she took a break from college, and so she was coming home, she was moving home, and I thought, oh my gosh, we have an extra room, like how perfect, why don't you, just move in, save up some cash, you don't have to pay rent, and we can just have this happy, perfect little family. And so this was, when I'm like, well, maybe it's not over. We just bought a home together. Maybe we can make this work.
Yeah, a lot of people try and make it work, especially when they have children.
Yeah, because like I said, the abuse, like the physical abuse, only happened twice.
Mm-hmm.
But there was still verbal. But I just, you kind of just push it down and think, is it really that bad? Like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
Well, a lot of times people don't even register that the verbal and mental is bad.
Yeah.
They just think, okay, this person's just telling me I'm a piece of shit. Maybe I'm just a piece of shit. No,
right.
no. They're fucking with you and they're abusing you. That is a form.
Yeah, and then you justify it. Well, they're not hitting me this time,
Exactly.
So yeah, we buy the house together, and I move one of my best friends in, and then there's so much that happens. Oh my god. I'm like trying to think of how to word all this without going off track.
Yeah,
so sorry if I do.
It's all good.
My other childhood best friend passed away.
Oh yes. Which okay, we were How did she pass away?
An overdose. She overdosed on fentanyl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it bad fentanyl, or was it just an overdose? I'm not familiar with fentanyl much.
I'm not either, but I've read a lot of articles saying that just the tiniest bit could kill you. And so
was she taking it on her own, or was she drugged? Do you know?
I don't know, because she was at somebody's house. I don't know how he got away with it, but he did.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And how old was she?
She was 24. I was 22.
And this was Alyssa?
Yes.
And this is who picked you up when you were...
Yeah. So she was the one that was always there for me, through thick, through thin. Anytime I needed her, she was just a phone call away, and she'd be there. She would drop everything for me.
How did you find out she passed away then?
So...
I know,
mutual friend.
We'll go back
I know,
to
sorry.
That story. No, you're
there's
totally
just
fine.
so
We'll
much that
back.
happens in that timeline. I'm trying to put everything together.
But losing a best friend from what age were you?
I was 22.
And how old were you when you guys became good friends?
We were elementary school.
Okay.
I don't think it was quite 5. I would say probably around 7.
Okay.
So pretty young.
Yeah.
Still a childhood friend. And a mutual friend called me, and she said, I heard something so disturbing. She was like, I heard that Alyssa passed away. Is that true? And my heart sank. And I was like, no. I was just with her.
Like what, the day
There's
before?
No way.
Or?
Well, so before we bought the home together, we were renting, my ex-husband and I, and she lived with us. So I like to move my best friends in with me.
Apparently. That's okay.
So she didn't always stay home. She would kind of go off. She was dating, so she would go off and do her own thing with her boyfriend. But her stuff was at my house, and so I saw her quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, one of those weeks where she was staying with her boyfriend, and I'm not going to get too much into it because it's not my business to tell on her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she did her own thing, and she was gone, and I received that phone call. And so I thought, what the hell? And so I hung up the phone, and I called who she was dating at the time. And I said, please tell me this isn't true. And he said, Mylah, she passed away last night.
What?
Yeah.
And with him, was he there with her?
No.
Who was she with?
Friends.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
And that's how... I don't even know where to go from
I know.
there. I don't look back.
I know.
You're like, I didn't want to cry.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so the funeral and everything had to be brutal.
Yeah, that was so hard.
Yeah. And being so young, 24, right?
Yeah, she was 24.
And she was gorgeous, too.
She was beautiful.
Yeah. That's awful. So there was no foul play. It was just...
Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about it.
How many people were with her when she passed?
As far as I know, just the one. But I wasn't there. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, and then how did you try and get over that? Just no.
There was no going over and getting over that.
Yeah. So still a problem.
Yeah, and then I remember. So I go to her funeral. It was like an open casket viewing.
I hate those. I can't.
I know.
Yeah.
And I just literally dropped to my knees and just broke down crying. It was really hard, and her family's mom and dad's side, they never got along, and so that was really everything. I just feel like she didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
And so that was really hard.
Yeah, no one deserves to pass away at such a young age. Especially, there's a lot of those like fentanyl and drug-related deaths that happen to such young people. Like, how is this happening?
Right. I mean, I don't think that they know what they're getting into.
Yeah. Okay, so let's revert back. So, terrible story about Alyssa, and I'm sorry about that for sure. And hopefully, at some point, I mean, you're never going to get over that.
No, you really don't.
No.
I mean, if you think of grief as like a ball in a jar, like the ball never shrinks or gets bigger, but the jar may get bigger, representing you. I mean, you really just learn to grow around your grief. The grief never goes away.
Yeah. No. And that's good that you can learn to live with the grief also, know, and not let it consume you completely.
Yeah. No, it definitely did. I mean, there was points... Well, I mean, going back to, like, the marriage, I remember... So 2 weeks after she had passed away, he's like, you need to get over this. And I was like... like, how, what? Like, did you really just say that to me? I need to get over it.
Yeah.
And, come to find out down the line, he was really just jealous. And he told me, he was like, I just wanted you. He's like, you will never love anybody the way that you loved her.
Well, it's a different love. It's a different love.
And I thought that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, the things that she helped me with, no, I probably won't ever.
So guess what? It's not going to take 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I could not believe that.
And there's no reason for a husband to be jealous of a best friend relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, holy fuck.
Yeah.
So, okay, 2 weeks in, you should get over it. And now you have your other best friend living with you, right?
Yeah, so that's later on.
Okay.
So that was... So when Alyssa was living with us, we were renting, and, days go by, and we ended up eventually buying our own home, and then that's when, she came, took a break from college, and I thought, exactly, this is perfect, I mean, it's helping me, I'm helping you, it's helping everybody.
Yeah.
And so she moved in, and, I mean, everything was fine. There were little signs that I guess I just pushed aside, showing that they were a lot closer than I thought they were.
Your husband and your best friend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was grieving. I was going through losing my best friend.
Like, how many months later is this?
This was probably... I'm trying to think. I would say... like the end of summer. So probably, we'll call it like 7-8 months later.
Mm-hmm.
And...
and so they were... What was happening? Were they...
I mean, they would like plan things for all of us. And so, I'd come into like something that they planned. Like, let's just say like a little get together. It's going to be fun. And it's like, wait, like why didn't you come to me, and then we could tell my best friend? Like, why are you two planning stuff? Okay. So it was weird, but like I said, I was so blindsided by the loss of my other really, really good best friend that I kind of just didn't care. Mm-hmm. I just didn't care. I was hurting so bad.
And you probably weren't assuming that your husband was fucking your best friend.
Yeah.
Wait, were they fucking?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say that they were, because
But
I don't know.
But you guys separated.
Yeah, we eventually separated, and they continued to live together. She didn't move out.
Oh, in your house?
Mm-hmm.
You moved out and she stayed there?
Yep. So when I finally left, I literally I packed up like one bag, and I thought, I'm never coming back again. I cannot do this. It's not working for me. So that was actually around the time that I started bartending at BG's.
Mm-hmm.
So my best friend Alyssa passed away in January. I started BG's in March. And so I had this new job. I was bartending, you know, and he would go on my shifts and he would watch me, and he can see other men, you know, flirting with me. I mean, it's really just a part of the job, but he got so jealous. Oh, he got so jealous. It was unhealthy.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting complaints from people being like, the husband or boyfriend is just eye-fucking the customers. I'm like, yeah, that's not good for business.
No, not really.
No, and now, because of multiple bartenders I've had that issue with, now that's just a conversation we have pre-employment.
Yeah.
Do you have a crazy husband, boyfriend? Like, is he not crazy? He might turn crazy because I mean, as a bartender,
Absolutely.
you have guys around. I mean, and even if you're a male bartender, you have girls around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you cannot be in a jealous relationship to have that profession by any means.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So you moved out and she stayed. And did you have like a best friend talk? Like, hey, I'm leaving. You should probably leave with me since we're like fucking friends and not stay with my ex-husband.
I know. I mean, not really, no. I did tell her that I was like, listen, I'm done. I cannot do this. I mean, he was so controlling and just verbally abusive that I was done. And so I packed up my stuff and I left when he wasn't home because I was so scared from previous things that had happened. I'm like, he's going to fucking kill me. He's going to kill me. And so I stayed with a coworker who was working in Mel's, and I left, and I mean, the craziness did not stop. I ended up blocking him on everything, and then I got an email, and it was him, and I thought, oh shit.
Yeah.
You can't block him on everything.
I remember meeting you for breakfast one morning, and you're like, yeah, my tires just got slit.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I wonder who did it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
and he was out gallivanting around town, shit-faced. I know it was him.
Yeah.
It was caught on camera. I told him that, and he still to this day denies it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I know it was you. I remember before I got the spare key to my car, he didn't know where I was staying for a little bit because I was so scared for my life. I remember he drove by and finally found my car, and then he kept setting off the alarm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, waiting for me to come outside and do something, and I stayed inside, and I kept stopping it, and I finally called him, and I was like, you need to stop doing that. I mean, it's nighttime, people are trying to go to bed, please leave me alone, I'm not coming outside.
Yeah.
Because he just wanted to see where I was staying, so he can harass me some more.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's what so many people don't understand with abusive relationships. It takes so much to finally get out.
It really does.
Like, I mean, and I can't even, I mean, the first episode with Melissa, I was able to describe the break, you know, that literally made us finally separate. But, oh my God, the shit that went down before that, like, one time I was driving home trying to get away from him, like, and my parents live in Emerald Pines, so it's like windy ass roads.
Yeah.
And he literally came behind me like fucking hot, right? And I was like, oh fuck. And so I was just trying to speed to get away. He came from right in front of me and I slammed into him. Yeah. I mean, that was one time. Another time, I got away from him and actually made it to my parents' house. And I opened the door, and I'm right on the road. And he came from behind and just slammed into my door. My door flew off. Like, I know. I mean, I'm like, dude, if my leg was out there, like, or something like that,
would have killed you.
Yeah. But I mean, people don't understand. Like, it takes so much to get out of that, and it. And it makes you sound weak because why are you in it? why
Right.
did you stay in it? Like, you could have left all those times. And it's
Absolutely.
just like, man, it's harder than you think to get out.
Yeah, no, I mean, it got to when I was bartending, I would come home, from my shift, and he's like, how much money did you make? And
That's similar to
and
Melissa's story.
I told him, and he was like, okay, give me your money.
Yep.
You can't, like, set aside cash to save up for a place. I mean, they do everything they can in their power to control you.
Yep.
It was so hard to leave.
Nope,
It really was.
And how can you, unless you have someone that will allow you to stay with them? I mean, yeah. So your ex and your ex-best friend, are they still happily together?
I don't know if I would use the term happily,
But they're still together.
but they're still together.
Yeah. How many years has it been?
That was 2008. Since 2018 is when
Wow.
they, like, officially announced it.
And then how's your relationship with your old best friend? Did it stop? Like, did you have a conversation when you really knew that they were together? Like,
yeah, and she said, I don't see anything wrong with what I'm doing. So after I found out that they were dating, I confronted her about it. And I said, do you really think, like, that's okay? I mean, we've been friends for, it was like, 20 years, at that time. And she said, I don't see anything wrong with what I'm doing.
I mean, I can make a list.
Yeah. And, I expected that to happen from my ex-husband, but I never expected her to do anything like that to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow. All right, well, we definitely hit some subjects that I wanted to hit tonight. But there's one other subject I wanted to touch with you. Oh,
I'm scared.
No. Plastic surgery.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. I am a full fan for plastic surgery.
Oh, so am I.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
And here's the thing. A lot of people are like, oh my God, you're altering your body that God gave you and all that. Okay, yeah, I get that. But as long as you are having these surgeries for yourself,
Yes.
and not to make anyone else happy, it's because you feel better inside your body when you have the money to be and the capability to be able to alter your appearance.
Yeah.
Why fucking not?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. Like you said, as long as you're doing it for yourself.
Exactly.
It cannot be for anybody else.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I had my boobs done.
Yes.
When my youngest was 2, so it's been 14, 15 years almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with my dickhead ex, and I'm like, I want to get my boobs done. And he's like, why? And I'm like, well, she's 2 children suck the
suck
shit
the
out
life
of her. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, they're like floppy cakes. I
Yep.
want to get them done for me, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I will leave you if you get them done. Why? Why would you leave me if I got my a breast job, right?
Right.
And he's like, well, because God, you're just doing it for male attention, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm really not doing. I mean, obviously it helps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they paid themselves off within like 4 months of bartending.
Yeah.
But I did it for me because,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't feel confident in your body when you have children and they fuck your body up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how life is. And if you can afford it, I think why not? And I don't regret it one bit. So I'm asked a lot about the breast augmentation. I had saline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's like a salt water,
Yes.
not silicone.
Right.
Now, the reason I went down that route, because doctors normally push silicone.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember being pushed on silicone too. And the reason I did saline is because I worked with a bartender, and this before I had my breast done, and she had silicone.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't know that she had a pinhole rupture in her breast, in one of her breasts, right? And she didn't know, and all of a sudden she had really bad fevers and stuff like that. She finally went into her doctor. They set up a mammogram, and they were able to see this.
Oh, okay.
She had to have one of her breasts removed for 3 months while she was on heavy antibiotics.
Mm-hmm.
So she was going on with one boob.
Fighting an infection.
Yes. And she's like, do not do silicone, right? Because, I mean, it's a foreign substance in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And another reason is if you get in a car accident, I heard at the time, maybe it's changed since then, like the seatbelt could rupture your breast.
Oh.
Yeah. With saline, it's salt water. So then, if there is, like my doctor said, if you wake up with a flat tire one day, like there's a pinhole, it's ruptured, but it's saline, it's salt water, so your body can absorb it without any effects,
complications.
Yeah,
right.
But like I said, silicone might have changed in the last 15 years since I've had it done. Did you get silicone?
I did.
Okay. And how long has it been since you had yours done?
8 years.
And are you happy with them?
I am.
Okay. And do you have to go in for mammograms?
I haven't yet.
I thought it's a necessity. Did they not say that you have to with silicone?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay.
I mean, I've had, like, your regular checks, but not a full-on mammogram.
Okay. And the procedure was very quick and easy. I mean, it was about a week or two of pain, but other than that, I mean...
That first week, I don't even remember.
Yeah,
honestly. Yeah, I was so high. I don't even remember. If I was in pain, I don't remember.
Yeah. I remember them giving me pain meds, and I went home, and I was allergic to the pain meds, and I was throwing up, and I'm trying to get over the toilet with my boobs, into my fucking chin, and I'm just like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. But other than that, what other surgeries have you had?
So I've had 2 other procedures. I've had my nose done, and more recently, I got a tummy tuck.
Okay, so let's talk about the nose. How painful was that?
It really wasn't that bad, and I didn't... But this is just me. I didn't bruise that much. I mean, you had it, like, right there in the corner of your eyes, and that was it.
Yeah.
It really wasn't that bad. And that one, gosh, before my tummy tuck, that one was my favorite surgery.
Your favorite?
My favorite.
What makes it a favorite?
School, well, I've been made fun of for my nose for years. So that one really helped boost my confidence. And allowed me to just go out and be me without being...
Your nose is perfect. I look at it right now, it looks fucking perfect.
He did a really good job.
Was there any scarring?
If you look really closely, there is under here.
Is that where they go in?
Yeah. So they cut right here. And then just lift your whole nose.
And then chisel that shit out?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And beforehand, did they show you what you were going to look like?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, how do you determine how much to take off?
I mean, I told him, I said, use your best judgment because I got my breast and my nose done at the same time.
Oh, no shit.
Same time.
Oh, man. Nice.
Yeah. And I'm like 2 birds, 1 stone. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And then the tummy tuck. Now, I know someone that had a tummy tuck. I thought it was a tummy tuck. And there's a scar literally all around the body.
So that's a body lift.
Okay.
I just got a tummy tuck. I have a scar from hip to hip.
Oh, okay.
So it's a pretty large scar, but it should lighten over time.
And do they take skin off?
Oh, yeah.
Did they show you how much?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to see. I said, make sure you take pictures, which they do, for their own records. But I was like, I need to see those.
How many inches do you think they took off?
Oh, my gosh, Lacey. I could pull up the picture. It's crazy. I knew I had a lot of extra skin because I have a total of, I had the twins.
Yeah.
And then I had my daughter and then my son more recently. So, I mean, given my body, there was so much extra skin. It was just unreal what he was able to take off.
Really? And how does it feel afterwards?
Good. The recovery process, it was challenging, but I've also had 3 C-sections. I mean, all of my kids were a C-section.
Did they take the scar of the C-section off?
They did.
Nice.
They did.
Nice.
Yeah. So now there's just 1 scar. Because I was nervous about that too. But, at that point I was like, I don't even think I care about another scar. I'm so used to scars on my body.
Yeah.
What's another one? He said, nope, we're going to remove that and you'll just have the one.
Yeah.
So,
did you have to have tubes, like drainage or
anything?
No.
So that used to be a thing, but I didn't have any drains.
Nice.
Or anything. Yeah. It was, it was a lot. It was pretty similar to a C-section, but you weren't carrying around a baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, nice. And then, now Botox. Now, I just got, local. There's the Sierra Surgery, or Sierra Cosmetic, I think it's called. It's by Rayleigh's.
Yeah.
Anyways, he does Botox, but he also does this other name, which I totally forgot. It's something sport.
Dysport?
Yeah, Dysport, yes. Which is fucking great, because I've had Botox before, and it's bubbled.
Oh,
really? Like it did a hard lump almost.
Okay.
Yeah, and this apparently it disperses more even and smaller.
The Dysport does.
Okay. And it's only like $10 a unit, and I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
Now, so he did right here and on the sides. Have you, you've had Botox?
I have.
Okay,
yes.
is that
I've never had Dysport, but I
Uh-huh.
have had Botox.
And is that the areas that you got it done at?
I did it on my eyebrows where it would lift my eyebrows. I've done it here because I do this all the time. I'm very expressive with my face, and here on my forehead.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm getting older, I would love to go back and get, you know, your smile lines
Older,
on
you
your
fucking
eyes.
30-year-old
I feel like
bitch.
I feel like my eyes age me so much.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's a necessity, and oh my god, it feels great afterwards.
Oh,
I'm like,
I love it.
I feel like I'm like 5 years younger with it, and I mean, you only have to get it done like 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah, I mean, of course, everybody's different, but for me, it lasts around 3 months, and so that's, you know, I wish it lasted longer, but man, once you have it, that fresh Botox.
I know.
Oh, I love it.
You have to try him out.
Yeah.
And that Dysport is really fucking awesome. I prefer it over Botox.
Okay.
And apparently Botox is more expensive because they use more.
Where I go, I think it's either $12 or $13 a unit.
Yeah.
So.
Well, awesome. I think we had some really great conversations and let some shit out, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all of your different experiences, and
Absolutely.
I hope you feel better getting it all off your chest.
Yeah.
I know that there were some things that you were kind of iffy about.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
like I said, this is therapeutic to a certain degree, and hopefully just every episode we can help someone. And there's someone out there that, you know, needs to hear your story. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if I just helped one person, I mean, what a difference.
Yeah.
To be able to help someone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And we will see you next week with a new guest and new experiences. So we'll see you then. Thank you.
Don't miss out on a single moment of The Real Life with Lacey. Hit that subscribe button so you'll always be the first to know when a new episode drops. Together, we'll keep uncovering the authenticity of life. Subscribe now and join our vibrant community of real stories and real connections.